make sure I wasn't muted this time.
Oh, good call.
Thank you. Nice change of hat.
It really helps me remember what show we did.
Touche.
It's a little trick of the trade.
I like it.
Deion Sanders is a coach now?
Yep.
Yeah, Jackson State. Yeah, it's
It's D1, isn't it? Still.
Why are they playing games right now?
Because that conference went from fall to spring because of COVID.
Yeah, he's on
how does that work?
He's at an all-black college. I forget what it's called. I can't remember what do they call it, but that's where it's like a Grambling school and stuff like that.
Jackson State beat Edward Waters 53-0 and Deion Sanders debut.
Yeah.
I still don't know why they're playing.
Because
it's February.
The spring. It's springtime for college.
I know they have spring programs and spring ball, but not like sanctioned games that you report on as a debut.
Yes, because of COVID. They changed the fall. Remember how they were talking about doing this for all of the Power 5 conferences to go to the spring? Thank you, Bill. So this is one of them. They're not one of the Power 5, but they're one of the conferences that elected to go to the spring to play.
So they just gave up on any chance of playoffs or national championship.
Have you ever heard of Jackson State before?
No, but
all right then.
This is why I don't follow fucking college sports. It's so convoluted and dumb. So just different conferences can play at any different time of the year, and the champion is just the champion of who decides to play when
they're like a
D2.
They're like a D2 or D3, I think. I don't think they're like a NCAA.
I bet you they're FBS.
You think so?
I think so. Well, look at the Ivy League. The Ivy League didn't play any games this year. They're part of the conference. They're part of the Division 1.
Yeah, because they were all working on cures to fix us all.
Yeah,
so they're smarter.
Yeah,
or
you go to fucking Harvard.
More than likely, figuring out ways to continue to fuck the rest of us somewhere down the line.
Probably a little bit of both.
Or inventing a new social media platform.
Hopefully.
Great, that's just what everyone needs. Another squid running some fucking media platform.
Zuckerberg didn't even graduate. It's a great
looks like a fucking alien.
Hey, we're running a media platform right now.
Yeah. But we're not squids.
Speak for yourself, Bill.
I am not a squid. Zuckerberg, he's an alien. He's a fucking robot or an alien.
Or a cunt. Welcome to the Simple Minds Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition. Red Sox report to spring training. This is February 23rd. They've been there for less than a week. We're going to talk some Red Sox. Ray, take a nap.
Thanks.
Welcome to the show.
It took me forever to fucking get. Sucks.
I sent you the Athletic that gives you every goddamn player in the organization.
You think I wanted to read all that?
Oh my God, Ray.
Jesus Christ. It's the.
You said 3 articles. I was like, God damn it.
I know. I thought about that after I put them all in. I'm like, there's no way Ray's going to read all these.
No, it was a waste of clicking for you. Copy paste. Nope. No. You could have got away with one of them.
I left them all in there. Look, this used to be a time of year. The trucks leave Fenway. You know, we got excited. And now it's, if not forgotten, looked upon as, I don't know, passé to talk about Red Sox spring training. And it's a little weird this year because of COVID, and there's not, generally there's a bunch of fans down there and Fort Myers at the fence and shit like that, and you get reports and everything. But I don't know, even still, it is Red Sox. It is Boston sports. It is a big part of the Boston's culture, Ray. So we're going to talk a little bit of spring training Red Sox baseball. This is where we look at the 150 goddamn players they have in their organization and determine, the 26 or so that are going to be on the club for this year. Or in this team's case, like 46 that might be on the club because nothing is guaranteed for this fucking team.
Yeah, there's like 5 spots I would say that are guaranteed right now.
Yeah,
in my eyes, which is crazy.
Yeah, honestly, it's nuts. Maybe a little more with the pitching and the bullpen and things, but yeah, you're pretty right. You're pretty much on point. So
it's like Major League. They're all coming into spring training like, who's this fucking bum?
Well, yeah, no, it really is. I mean, especially like I was reading a lot of the roster invite guys. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys?
And then there's well, I was reading it too, like non-roster invites. I was like, what the fuck? So you can just, isn't that just bringing in free agents pretty much?
No, so it's like bringing up. So you have your 40-man roster.
Yep.
So usually you bring all your 40 guys in there, and then you have all the guys that aren't on the 40-man roster. So you invite them to spring training. So if they do good and they make the team, then you got to add them to the 40-man roster. So that's how you maneuver it that way. So those were your roster invitees. Like that's
sometimes
what
you see some like
and sometimes you do
though,
get
right? Like guys looking for second chances, or like the 30-year-old that is looking to hang on to his career type of thing. But
middle relievers.
You start getting into the non-roster invites on the relief pitcher of that athletic column, and it's like
there was one good guy, the guy from the A's. I forget his name was, but he's coming off Tommy John surgery. He had 2019, so he could be a little bounce back. That could be, I forget his name. I have to look it up, but
okay, I'm Bloom. Tell us all about the comeback guys that we're underestimating coming in here. Ray, you're muted, you dumb fuck.
Bill hates nerds, but he's one of them with all this talk about, this guy just came off his Tommy John surgery.
I love baseball, dude. What I mean, it's not that I'm a nerd. I don't know, like I'm not analytical about baseball. I just love I love baseball. So it's like obviously it's baseball season. Football's over. I'm not a huge basketball, so I do the Bruins and I just roll right into baseball now. It looks like we're getting a full season in. No stops in spring training so far. I know we're only a week in, but the plan is to play 162. I'm excited. I fucking love Red Sox baseball.
9 players tested positive on the initial, which is kind of nothing. So yeah, I want your initial thoughts. I thought about it looks like they're going to have a full season, and it kind of feels like the Red Sox are going to have a regular season and maybe a team that I could actually root for. Like obviously everything we've talked about, these journeymen and the team I'm not expecting to be World Series, but it seems like, and this is a lot based on Alex Cora's comments, Alex Cora coming back after a year of not suspension, he got fired and then came back.
Fired.
Quote.
Fired.
It seems like he knows he has something to prove. It seems like a lot of the guys on this team have something to prove, and they want to go prove a lot of the haters wrong, which generally leads to at least competitive baseball. At least guys out there looking like they want to try, not a repeat of JD Martinez, fucking
211,
not even showing up last year. Rafael Devers barely showing up on in shape. So I get last year was COVID, and that's a different story. But long story short, I actually have a little twinge. Ray, I'll go to you first. A little twinge in the plums about Red Sox baseball this year. Maybe something I can pay attention to and get behind. Where last year I just literally didn't pay attention to what's going on.
So you're going to pay attention to a team that's going to be competing with the Baltimore Orioles for last place in the AL East, with a team that had pitchers ranked 25th in all of MLB and ERA, 29th in fielding, independent pitching, 20th in strikeouts, and 29th in innings. This team's going to suck. This team is going to be
a nerd now. Who's a fucking nerd? Jesus Christ, you're throwing out shit that they just made up like 5 fucking years ago.
He doesn't know what that means. What the Bill? Google is a fancy machine where you type in Red Sox stats and he prints it out and then he reads it off.
Thank you, Google. I want to thank Google for my last segment right there. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're not totally wrong, though. They do. No, there is a good chance that they suck. This is more of a guttural feeling. I went into last year like, ooh, especially when Erod went down, like, oh God, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And I guess, Bill, a lot of this is also based on, and I've said this to you throughout the offseason, the quote unquote cold stove of baseball. Chaim Bloom and the Red Sox didn't make any splashes. That's for goddamn sure. They traded away Benintendi. It was probably the biggest move they made. But I'm for them doing something. Like, it seems like it's kind of a tear down, start from scratch, get his guys in there, seeing what they can do. I don't know if I'm totally on board, but it's something. There's a direction. We've gone the Dave Dombrowski era. Basically, after signing David Price, there was no direction. It was just give away the farm for whoever you think can. Oh, they're about to blow their arm. Fuck it, bring them in. Here's 3 guys.
Can we win a World Series with this guy in the year 1? Okay, cool. Let's get him, and then we'll sign him after he blows out his arm. Perfect.
And that was it. And that was the only direction. And you know what? They got a World Series, and that's fine. And that might be okay for the Kansas City Royals or the Marlins, but not the Red Sox, not Boston. You have the second highest payroll in in baseball still, you should be winning and building and winning and building and competing and winning and building and competing. You shouldn't be last place every other year like this John Henry. So I guess after Richie rambles, I was glad they were doing something. It looks like they have a plan, even if that plan is get scrape shit off the heap and see what we can find and then build it into something else.
No, I kind of agree with you there as far as like ripping it down. I'm excited for the season, one, because I love baseball, and two, I'm excited to kind of see the young guys come up. You know, you're seeing a few starters. You have Bobby Dahlbach playing first base, which I'm pretty excited for. I mean, you might see Jared Duran get in there, another guy I've been kind of touting for, couple weeks now on the podcast, maybe a few months. Like I'm happy, and I want to see what we have in the farm system, especially in the pitching department with Pavetta and Nick Hulk, or Taylor Hulk, I should say, whatever. Hulk. You need to. I'll feel good in this season, especially if we see something from these young guys, because again, after coming back from a brutally butchered farm system the last 3 years under Dombrowski, you're seeing like the little talent that was there come, and this is what we need to see. So I'm excited to see that. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be as bad as Ray you say. I mean, I think they could be a 500 team. 80 wins for me would be a win coming, especially after last year. I think there's still enough talent on this team, especially if you're getting Chris Sale back by the All-Star break. You'll probably get 8 or 9 starts out of him. I just like to see him coming back and see if he's healthy. These pitchers come back healthier after Tommy John. So, I mean, I'm excited. I just want to see what we got in the future, because this is year. Because if you're going to spend next year, which is the rumor going into 2022 is the big free agent year, you can build around. If you can build something out of Dahlbach or get Duran up there, maybe you get Jeter Downs coming up in 2022, which is a rumor now too. So, I mean, this is the way to do it. You want to surround these young guys on cheap contract deals, and you can go out and start spending money in the offseason. So I think this year is kind of pivotal to the first step to the rebuild is what you're seeing happen now.
Ray, can you actually give me those numbers again? Because there is a good chance that this pitching staff is still abysmal. So just give me it again.
Starters ranked 25th in all of MLB in ERA, 29th in FIP, 20th in strikeouts per 9, 29th in innings pitched, and dead last in wins above replacement.
WAR. I fucking love that made-up stat that just came out a few years ago. WAR.
WAR's been around for a while. I don't know what FIPA is, but
fielding, independent pitching.
Oh, basically, if you have shitty defense,
yes.
How does that affect your pitching?
Correct.
And in the Red Sox case, it didn't matter. Your pitching sucked as bad, if not worse, than your defense. There's still a chance that this can happen. You're still relying on, the Chris Sale thing is fine, whatever. If he comes back, I'm not expecting this team to be competing for a championship. I'm not expecting Chris Sale to be fighting to be an ace again. If he comes back this season, look at him as rehab starts to get ready for 2022. So you're relying on Eduardo Rodriguez, who has a COVID heart, and his track record of a professional athlete is not really trying terribly hard to fight their injuries and pretty consistently running into some. His last year with the Red Sox before the COVID stuff, or was it the year before we had the really good year?
2019,
he had a really good year.
He had 19 wins, and I think his ERA was under 3.5. I mean, he's your opening day starter this year.
Yeah, and he said he wants to come out and compete, and he's saying all the right things. He's saying, "Don't doubt us. We have something to prove." So all that's good. I like that. But your number 2 starter is Nathan Eovaldi. Your number 2 starter is Nathan Eovaldi at 17 million, who's a 4 whatever ERA, who has nasty stuff. He was a postseason hero for the Red Sox, but he is one of the reasons you're in those stats that the obvious one just gave us. And then your number 3 starter, fuck if I know. The list is long. The list is goddamn long. Garrett Richards got $10 million this year. Martin Perez is back at $5 million. And then from there, you got young guys and retreads that we can go through if you want. But I asked the question, Bill, can they rely on, I don't know, out of those 4 guys, I mentioned 3 of them being professional pitchers, keeping their ERA somewhere around 3.5, giving your lineup, which still should be pretty good, a chance to win, keeping you competitive to get to, call it 80 wins, and sniffing a wild card chase at early September and inevitably failing at getting there.
I honestly think the only one you can really rely on is Erod. 2019, he was very healthy. Like, he was healthy. You saw his best year. You saw, like, strikeouts. He was close to 200 strikeouts. He cut his walks down. His ERA was low. His innings pitched, which was important because, you can win a bunch of games. Daisuke won 18 games one year, and his innings pitched was so low because he walked a shit ton of guys. Like, the ace of your staff right now. I think he's the only one you could trust. Evaldi, I don't trust that arm. I fucking hate the signing. I don't mind Martin Perez at $5 million. He made every start last year, I think, except for one. His ERA was right around 4. He had a good strikeout pitcher last year. I thought he was a solid pro, what they needed. He obviously kind of took less money to come back, but for a 4th or 5th starter, he's okay, but not as your 3rd starter, and I think that's a huge problem for this team right now. I don't trust Garrett Richards. I told you when they signed him, I don't trust that elbow. He had Tommy John surgery that he took like 3 years to get because when he was with the Angels, he tried that stem cell stuff that Tanaka had, and it didn't work. So I don't trust that guy's elbow at all. He had a 4.35 ERA from Milwaukee last year. So I just don't trust him coming over. I don't think he's going to stay healthy. But if the rumors are true, they go to a 6-man rotation. It might take some stress off these guys, which I won't necessarily hate in the beginning, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly, you're getting a Tampa Bay Ray approach here. So expect to see that 6-man, and expect to see it because after those guys, Ray, let's play a little game. There's a lot of names, and they're looking for a couple to stick, and yeah, they're looking for some young guys to show them something. Bill, you mentioned a couple, and Nick Pivetta, Tanner Houck. Pivetta came over from the Phillies, but then there's a lot of other guys that you're going to see come up and spot start for them. And Ray, let's see, just a yes or no, if you've heard of these guys before today, and maybe you've looked a couple up. Maybe
Okay.
I sent you a couple.
Okay.
Connor Siebold.
Nope.
Brian Matta.
Nope.
Jay Groom.
Yes.
Thad Ward.
No, but I wish I had.
Josh Winkowski.
Was he on Monsters Inc?
So what Rule 5 pick?
Frank German.
Nope.
Kyle Hart.
Nope.
Okay.
He pitched on the team last year. He's terrible.
Yeah, they all kind of suck.
Matta's your number one. Matta's your number one pitching prospect. He might make it up this year, especially, he's going to start AAA. So they didn't really have a AAA season.
Well, they just traded him, didn't they?
Matta?
Who'd they just trade down to?
Mazda. Matta's their number one pitching prospect. So you might, besides Hawk, but you might. I mean, go ahead. You're still on Ray, so I won't want to. You want me to go?
No, I just wanted to say you had one. You recognize the one.
I recognize
Was it Jay Groom?
Yep.
Jay Groom, yeah.
Jay Groom, yeah. High draft pick a couple years ago. Injury history. Thoughts that he needs to get it. He's known for his curveball. Doesn't really have a lightning fast fastball. I don't have any faith in fucking Jay Groom doing anything. I don't really have any faith in any of these guys doing anything, frankly. Tanner Houck showed us something last year. Reports are Chris Sale has taken to him and kind of taken under his wing, thinks he has something. There's a reason.
Did it with Erod too when he came over. Him and Erod were pretty buddy too because fellow lefty. So I mean he's trying to. I like that leadership of Sale.
Wait a minute, something. Let me ask you, Bill. If one guy out of this group of bums I just said, if one guy becomes a professional MLB starter, your 3rd starter above, is that a success?
Yes.
And it happens this year. If Tanner Houck is the guy and he becomes a consistent starter for you this year, is that a success for Chaim Bloom and this, this strategy that he's going with?
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 starts last year, Hawk, and he looked good. If you're only going down to a 5-man rotation, unless someone gets hurt, he's going to start in AAA. He's out of Nick Pivetta is going to get the fist putt. He's out of options. You can't send him down. If you send him down, he's got to go through waivers. Anyone can kind of claim him. You have to trade him and shit like that. So I would love to see him get between 15 and 20 starts. I would probably trust him more than I trust Brad Richards, honestly. Give the kid a chance. He showed something last year. He's your number one pitching prospect besides Matta right now, and you need one of these guys. Jake Groom's kind of getting that AAA treatment now. He might get up there this year. He's rumored to be a late season call up unless you're really shorthanded. But yeah, it'd be a success if one of these 3 hit. These are your 3 youngest pitchers in your organization. You're not a good team, growing hometown talent when it comes for pitchers. The last one really was John Lester was a true one. Everyone else that you've traded for, Pedro, all those guys. David Lester. I mean, John Lester was the last one. So, I mean, you need to develop your own hometown talent because even Erod, you traded Andrew Miller for him. So he's not even your hometown talent because these are prospects you traded for. So between Hawk, Mata, and Groom, you need to start seeing something now. And especially Groom, when you came over 2016. This is year 5. You're 22, 23 years old. Let's go. This is the year you should be up. I get it, you had Tommy John, but this is the year you need to make it. It's right. The writing's on the wall for him to make starts this year. If he's
hold on, if Eron is a starter, Ray, do you know what Eovaldi's contract is? Is he up after this year? Does anyone know?
I don't think so. I don't think
he
so.
has,
Does he have one more on the year?
He was a 4 for either 68 or 72. So he signed it 19, 20.
He might
21.
have a year more after this.
One more after this.
So looking ahead, because this year is what it is, but from a staff perspective, if you're looking to be World Series competitive in 2022, Chris Sale is back. Let's call Chris Sale back and pretty much fully healthy if he gets 8, 7 starts this season, or as close to fully healthy, he'll be there at the end of 2020. Chris Sale is obviously your number 1. If Eduardo Rodriguez comes back to form, he's your number 2. Do they go spend on pitching at that point? Because after that, now we're talking about, like we said, one of these young guys hitting and maybe being your 3 starter, probably close to your 4. And then you have Garrett Richards, who is Garrett Richards, and Martin Perez, who signed a 1-year deal, who is Martin Perez. So you talk about spending next year, and the biggest question mark on this Red Sox team is pitching. You don't have a ton of young talent. You're hoping one guy hits as a number 3 starter. So, what does the free agent market look like next year for pitchers? And do you dive into that again after the Chris Sale debacle and the David Price debacle? I get it, you got a World Series, but do you go spend another $100 million on a 30-year-old pitcher next year?
I mean, again,
go ahead, Ray. Sorry, Ray. I see you shaking your head. Go ahead.
No, Eovaldi is also here till 2023 is when he's a free agent. So you got another 2 years of Eovaldi.
Yeah, 21, 22, and then he's a free agent 23.
So that's fine. If Eovaldi's your number 4 guy or 5, or even if you get enough pitching throw, I'd love to see him in the bullpen. But either way, so you're going to have to upgrade your fucking staff at some point, Ray. So is it
I agree, but
30-year-old $100 million dude?
No, because this isn't Hyman Bloom's thing. You've been seeing what he's been doing with the, what he did in Tampa Bay, getting the bargain bin and making him work and actually cashing in on it with a World Series appearance for the Tampa Bay that he designed this year. So, yeah, I think it's going to be like all these mid-level guys that he's going to try to make work. I don't think you're going to see these $100 million pitchers coming into the Red Sox anymore as long as Hyman Bloom's here.
What about you, Bill? Are you looking at free agents right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, it's an old market in 2022. Verlander, Greinke, Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, Noah Syndergaard, he's there. Lance McCullers. There's nothing, Erod's even there too. So, I mean, you got to spend somewhere, but it seems like your best bet is a trade because honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of big term money on any of those guys, especially Greinke, who really can't pitch in the American League East. He couldn't even handle pitching in Kansas City. He went fucking AWOL, and he's been bounced around the league for a while. He's got the depression issues. I don't think he's going to handle Boston well, especially if he struggles. Noah Syndergaard can't stay healthy. So, I mean, you'd want him to spend on pitching, but I don't know what is out there to get. I mean, John Lester, you might see him back, these 1-year stopgaps, but it's nothing.
Yeah, so you're not talking about going and grabbing a guy to sit right behind Chris Sale and be a dominant staff. You're talking about some of the same thing, which brings me to the bullpen this year. And are they building on something? So after years of Big Jim Murray's the wheel of gutless bums, which they are,
they still are.
God, could it be a strength though, Bill? Because Matt Barnes, I know Matt Barnes' track record isn't great, but he's good. We like Adam Ottavino. Had a bad year last year, but had an excellent year in 2019 with the Yankees. Darwinzon Hernandez is young, still unproven, but they have him locked in as a late inning guy. They signed Andrizi as kind of your stretch reliever there, and then they signed the Japanese guy Sawamura, who who knows with these Japanese guys, but they're high end. He's a higher end talent than some of the other fucking jamokes that you have put in that goddamn pen in the last couple of years. So we know that Tampa Bay won with their bullpen in record numbers. Yeah, true. I mean, that if they had any idea, if the computers weren't running the system and they let Blake Snell go for another inning or two, maybe they don't.
Did you see the Wendy's tweet against it? Sorry to interrupt. Did you see that Wendy's tweet for the Rays last week?
We talked about it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't remember.
It was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. I just asked, could this be building on something? If their starting pitching is still going to be suspect next year at best, could they look to start building on this relief market through trades and everything else, like they've already started to do this year, and head down that path? Do we look at this year as the bullpen maybe not being a strength, but settling out? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Because if you look at Matt Barnes' track record, as long as you can kind of get him consistent, slotment, like a slot to pitch, like seventh, eighth inning guy, identify that stuff early. I think Ottavino's probably going to be your closer, but Matt Barnes can close. And it sounds like even Darwinson Hernandez, Cora mentioned, I think this weekend that, he might look at him to get some some saves too. So I just like to see him, kind of fill out that pecking order is what you want to call, as I should say, in the bullpen. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. My brain's fucking a mess today.
Ramble. Hold on. Let me give you some more names, Ray. Ryan Brazier.
Heard of.
Josh Taylor.
Nope.
Austin Bryce.
Yep.
Phillips Valdez.
Nope.
Colton Brewer.
Nope.
Marcus Walden.
Yes.
Garrett Whitlock.
Nope.
Do you know what they have? You know what they all have in common?
They suck.
Yep. They fucking suck. They suck.
Garrett Whitlock's going to be in there too. He was a Rule 5 pick from the New York Yankees. Brian Brazier, I know he's not your boy, but he did have a decent year last year.
Shut the fuck up, Bill. Shut up. No, he didn't. He sucks.
He did. I'm going to keep
rubbing
it in your face. I know he's
so bad. He's so bad. That cock-necked piece of shit. Anybody who tells me they had a good year or a bad year in 2020 can go to hell. I don't give a fuck about 2020. Look at Ryan Brazier in 2019. What they picked him off some Chinese pile of dung in 2018, and somehow he pitched well. What were they? What kind of sniffing salts were they giving him over there in China that lasted the 2018 season?
He was pitching for the Wuhan Bats.
He sucks, Ryan Brazier. Come on. But I think, I mean, with those four names, the Barnes, Ottavino, Andrizi, Hernandez, and the new Japanese guys, Sawamura. I don't know if you can get to the sixth inning and give those guys 7, 8, 9. Maybe they have something. They have something. I think, bottom line, I think they have more than what they've had in the last couple of years, and a lot of their losses came in the 7th and 8th innings. So maybe that's a sign of improvement.
I think they led the league in blown saves last year, and Andrizi should be your long inning guy, your middle guy. So I mean, he pitched well last year for Detroit. I think he just came over from Detroit. I think they signed him out this weekend. So I mean, he's kind of like a submariner. He's a sidearm thrower, which hopefully he'll do well. I mean, you need it at a strength because if you can't rely on your starting pitcher, you need to have a solid bullpen. That's especially if these guys, you look at the track record, some of these guys are only going 5 innings. Look at the MLB now. You got to go, 6 2/3 pretty much from the bullpen. You know what I mean? You're pulling guys in the 5th inning, so 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You got to figure it out.
They can't see the lineup for the 3rd time through, Bill.
God forbid.
God forbid.
Let's
God
pull
forbid
everybody.
Alex Verdugo gets a 3rd look at that fucking fastball. He's gonna hit it out of the park.
Oh, yeah, I'm worried about that now with Cora too coming back more. Like I just with Bloom's, you saw it with Tampa. That's his influence in Tampa. If he starts doing that, you saw a lot in the World Series. They played the matchups, right and left matchups in the World Series. It was the same bullshit.
They have to. So let's get into the lineup. I think the lineup is still going to be a top 3, probably a top 3 performer in the AL, if not top 2. They were last year in runs. I think they led the league in runs last year again, or maybe they were second. But with guys like, if your top 4 are Verdugo, JD, Devers, and Bogarts, were basically the 4 guys that are locked in for positions. Those are 4 of the top, I don't know, 10 hitters in baseball, in the AL. I mean, Verdugo will spray it. We know what Bogarts and JD, if JD is obviously has to come back to form, and it is reported that they can use video this year. So JD Martinez, you can stop pissing in a pot. And Devers, I think, was a video guy too. So maybe they'll get their shit back together.
Sorry, Rich, I don't mean to. Don't sleep on the core effect on Rafael Devers. 2018, 2019, 2019 was his best year, and he was. He's a young Dominican kid, and Cora is the Spanish connection with there. You heard all the Spanish guys kind of flock to Alex Cora, and you kind of started getting the best out of it. Even Bogarts, you saw Vasquez is, all these young Spanish guys coming under Cora. You've seen where their production has been under him. It dipped a little bit last year. I don't know I just think it was a shitty year all around. But I think that's a big effect coming back, especially on Devers. Like he got the more out of Devers than I think anybody has yet. You know, he came in shape. He looked like a fucking stud in 18. You know, especially 2019. He lost a lot of weight. So I mean, I think that's the biggest core effect is definitely Devers coming in.
Yeah, that's probably why they brought Alex Cora back. Frankly, I mean, your two best players really rely on him to get the best out of him. So, but oh shit, I fucked that up. So just give me your thoughts, Ray, on the lineup. Outside of those top four, Alex Cora is going to be listening to whatever dork upstairs tells him who should be playing that day and when they should be playing. And there's a lot of them. You got 4 or 5 positions that are, frankly, they're platoon positions. First, second, right, left.
I wouldn't know about first yet.
Dahlbeck had a really good end of the year last year, didn't he?
He had a lot of home runs. He could be your everyday right now. I mean, if you look at kind of I know it's your turn, Ray. I'm sorry, but if you look at kind of the guys that have played first, you know, Marwin Gonzalez hasn't played a lot of first. Michael Chavis plays a lot of first, but he's got options. They might send him back down to AAA. He's basically sucked. They kind of figured out he can't hit. So I mean, then
he's off the juice.
Celtics Pelicans head into fucking OT.
Is that real?
Yep.
Is that why you've been quiet?
Maybe.
Oh my fucking God. Blowout city, huh?
It was a blowout.
Classic Celtics.
You're up
Classic Celtics. Well, guess I'm having another beer.
Yeah, but your left field and right field, that's going to be a question about who's going to be there. Hunter Renfroe for right, and then left field, who's there in left field?
Well, you know,
Franchi Cordero.
Well, he might play center. So it's Franchi, and Verdugo. They don't know where they're going to play Verdugo yet. He might play center. He might play right. They don't know what they're going to do. So Verdugo's the only guaranteed starter in the outfield.
Yeah.
So it's either center or it's either right field. And they're talking to Jackie Bradley still. So
now they're not. They're not bringing Jackie Bradley Jr. back. They're not bringing him back. Get that out of your mind. And the idea of right field versus center field you have to remember Fenway right field is the hardest.
The hardest in
Fenway is the hardest in baseball. So whoever the better fielder is
goes over there.
I think will be.
Verdugo played really well there last year, and I think he's a natural center fielder though. Same thing with like Mookie Betts. You know, when they moved him from second, it was center field.
Yep. It'll just to your point, Bill and Alex Cora, and what is he going to do? I just hope that the Red Sox can realize, unlike the Marlins, that a little bit of baseball can go in with the Matrix. So if a guy is pitching a gem in the 6th, don't pull him out. Or if a guy's on a 16-game hitting streak, don't pull him out. Just let him play. Let him play. There's a little bit of sports still in the sport. It's not just fucking computers and nerds.
That's what the game's coming to, though.
I guess. But I think, like we said at the top, Alex Cora has a lot to prove. He's coming off a major cheating scandal. I think I feel that he's lucky to have a job. I know that we've said that there's a wink, wink, nod, nod from the Red Sox, but he's not, Bill, you've mentioned this. He's not Chaim Bloom's guy. Mm-hmm. And I would expect him to be on a pretty short leash, which I don't know, could go good or bad. If they want him to just play it by the book, they send him exactly the moves that he needs to do, and he just executes it. And he can't shoot by the hip or play his gut like I think he did a lot in 18, where every move he made worked. Fucking worked.
Money.
I think, and that's one of his probably biggest strengths as a ex-player. I don't know what's it going to look like on the field. What's it going to look like on the field? You touched on the biggest things, Bogarts and Devers. And probably Verdugo to an extent probably will really latch onto him, and whoever else. He's a charismatic guy. You listen to him talk, and he's a player's coach. Your attention.
He's young too. You remember he's only in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty young for especially baseball minds for a manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You get two or three young ones in the 40s, don't you, Bill?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I got distracted.
It was just another degenerate kid joke.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure if you were actually talking about real managers, so I got confused in my brain.
No, I was talking about you having illegitimate children and being old as shit.
Never mind.
Or looking old as shit.
Drink that sparkling water.
Even though you shave your mustache down further than your beard like fucking lunatic.
No way. I do it all the time. Just a little.
It's really weird looking.
It's just a light, too. It's not that short.
No, it is.
It's LeBron. He does a little LeBron.
It is. It's very, very
He's got the
short.
receding hairline and the mustache like LeBron. Both of them. Boom.
Let me give you these final prospects that kind of land on the list of prospects. I know Daubach's going to be on here, and I know we said that could be your everyday, but I don't know. I'm not convinced he's your everyday first baseman. I don't think he's proved himself defensively, and he strikes out a shit ton.
Yeah,
A
one out of every
shit
2
ton.
at bats, pretty much. It's either a home run or strikeout with him.
So when we're talking about call-ups, just give me your thought process on these. And Ray, actually, let's do the list. And a couple of these you've already heard today. So yes or no?
Okay.
Jared Duran.
No.
Okay. Bobby Daubach.
Oh yeah.
Tanner Hulk.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Winkovich.
Yep.
Seabold.
Nope.
Jay Groom.
Yep.
Jeter Downs.
Yep.
Tristan Casas.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
You've heard of the number one prospect in the Red Sox system.
Yeah, because you guys bitched about him a lot before.
Excellent.
Yep.
Bill, are any of these guys going to make an impact? Let's throw Daubach out because he's basically
Daubach's
on the opening day
pretty
roster.
yeah.
Duran is and Hawk are the guys that are, I don't know, most like Hawk is going to play at some point. Duran is now picking up steam to be a guy that you'll see in a Red Sox uniform this year. Any of these other guys you think might see some time?
I'd like to see Tristan Casas get up there, Kasich, whatever his name is, because he's a first baseman, especially Dahlbach struggles, which I kind of think he's going to. Especially Dahlbach, I think he's going to be a 20 homer guy and 190 strikeouts. So if he's not hitting home runs, then what really is good? He's not really useful because he can't play great defense. I think he's a third baseman by trait. So they moved him over last year because obviously Devers is there. I'd like to see Jared Duran get up there. I've been high on him forever. He murdered the last couple of weeks of the Puerto Rican Winter League. He didn't really play in a lot of games, but he was on the neutral site there, the off site with all those guys playing with the AAA team. So he would be my sleeper to contribute. But Tanner Hawk's the guy that's going to give you the most contribution outside of Bobby Dahlbach.
They are pumping Jared Duran's tires. They are pumping this kid.
Dude, he's Jacoby Ellsbury. Hopefully without the injuries right now. That's the best comparison. He's the guy, and it's fine. He's finally here.
Jacoby Ellsbury?
Yeah. I think that because they released him, I think
they might still be paying him. And that stat that I don't think we touched on, that Bobby Bonilla will be getting paid 1 year past the Fernando Tatis Jr. deal.
It's ridiculous.
15 years from now.
$1.25 million July 1st every year. Bobby Bonilla Day. I fucking love it, dude.
It's so great.
But you see a lot of teams do that. Manny Ramirez deferred some money. You kind of Max Scherzer up
Not
there in
like
Washington.
that.
Not like this. But he did 25 million.
25 years or something?
25 years for 25 million plus interest. So he gets 1.25 million every year. You got $250,000 of interest for pushing that off. That's insane.
That's nuts.
And he's
that agent
57. He's 55 or 57.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right
that age.
Oh yeah. But that was the Wilpons that owned the Mets before. They had some money trouble back then, so they agreed. They wanted to push it off. It was the Mets. They were like, "Hey, can we push this off?" Because he came over from, I don't know, the Marlins. He was on Pittsburgh.
Marlins,
he won a World Series with Marlins, and then he went to the Mets and I think he bounced around somewhere else too. But
unbelievable! I just thought that
deal.
was a really awesome statistic that sometimes we get in this wild world of sports. All right, well, this is spring training. In 30 seconds or less, what's the one thing you want to see out of spring training from the Boston Red Sox, Ray?
I don't know. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Bill?
It's the pitching. I want to see some consistent starting pitching in the Grapefruit League right now. That's the most important thing to this team.
I want to see Raph Devers clean it up. I want to see Rafael Devers land and be a consistent force that he has been rumored to be for years. I think if he lands there, then they're in good shape.
It's there. He's 22.
And then JD Martinez really becomes expendable. Maybe you can go get some actual pitching. Okay, this has been the Simple Mind Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition, February 23rd. Red Sox reports to spring training. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do I hear another number stat?
Do I?
Kemba Walker, 5 for 20 today.
Oof. What's the score right now?
111, 110 Pelicans.
I can't believe they fucking blew this game.
I can. This team sucks, man. Their bench sucks. It's fire Brad season.
Yep, I'm on board.
Welcome to it.
When we start